Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for episode 35 of Typewriter Talks. I'm Maureen McDowell, the founder and executive director of Keep St. Pete Lit. We are a literary arts organization based in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Typewriter Talks is an online series where we get into the brains of our local writers in our community. And today we have with us modern Medusa, who is a poet, novelist, and has written a self-help book. So Medusa, I was like going to be modern. I was like, how do I say it? Medusa, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Maureen. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you've been our feature at the Poetry Open Mic when we were live at the Studio 620, and you came back on my radar, thankfully, to my friend and fellow poet Yuki Jackson, who's also been interviewed for this. So thank you, Yuki. And I immediately was like, I have to interview her for Typewriter Talks. So tell us what you're working on right now.
Awesome. Well, yes, shout out to Yuki. Thank you so much for recommending me.
Mhm.
So right now, I'm currently working on projects as far as, my novels and my books. Last month, December of 2020, I released my sixth book.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm super excited. So,
That's great.
moving forward in 2021, I'm hoping to release at least two more books. Yeah, I'm, just trying to progress and move forward. Definitely doing a lot of community projects and things as such. Yesterday, I had a huge MLK Expo for 2021. That went amazing. So, just moving forward, just working on my books, working on, being there with the community and in the community, and, just being of service in any way that I can be.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations. 6 books. Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So, are your books traditionally published or self-published?
They
Or
are self-published.
yeah, good for you.
Thank
I think that self-publishing is a wonderful vehicle to, keep creative control, and you're not on the timetable of a publisher. You can put work out whenever you want. And my books are self-published. My third book won't be, but it's a local publisher, so I get it. Congratulations.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. So tell
Thank
us what
you.
a typical day for you is like, is what a typical day as a writer is like for you.
Hmm. A typical day for me in the world of literacy and writing generally starts with vision and dreams. I'm a vivid dreamer, so I'm the type of person that has the dream journal next to me because oftentimes I wake up with different visions and different thoughts for my works of art. So I start with that, a vision for the day, and most times I write analytically with purpose, and then other times I write with emotion
Mhm.
of what I'm feeling, So it really all depends on, throughout the day how everything is going. But generally, every night when I settle in from work, because I also work full time, I come home to my office, I light my candles and my incense, and maybe have some tea ready or coffee, and I kind of just get in my zen and go with the flow and see where my words take me.
Mhm. So you're a nighttime writer.
I am.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like I like writing right out of the dream time, right early in the morning before
Mhm.
anything's crowded me. And but some people love it at night, and I get it because it's like so quiet. It's like the world is just like shut down, uh,
Absolutely.
and if you have the energy after working a full-time job to still write, good on you. Good
Oh yeah.
on you. So what are some of the major themes in your writing?
The major themes in my writing is mental health, African American Black culture, motivation, empowerment, um, as well as love, from different prospects, from a positive connotation as well as a negative connotation.
Mhm.
I write about my lens through other people, that I may meet or may, openly and willingly share their experiences and, allow me to manifest and write from those. So it's a collaboration of a lot of things, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's what's fun about being a poet and a creative, because we pull from multiple sources, which I
Absolutely.
think is why it's important to read across multiple genres, because you can be an innovative thinker and kind of pull something from here and, oh, that and this and that. And I tried so many jobs in my 20s. Like I didn't know what I wanted to be, but it was really because all along I was a poet, and it was
Mm,
just trying all these different hats because poetry kind of fits everywhere. So I,
absolutely.
so have you always been drawn to writing?
I've always been drawn to writing, and honestly, since like elementary school,
Yeah. Yeah.
it started early. I still have notebooks to this day from like 2004, 2005. I keep all of my work, so it's been in me for a while, and honestly, it started because of my need to express myself and not really knowing how at such a young age.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to have conversations but not knowing who to have them with. So I tended to have them with my black and white composition book.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Still
definitely
having
started early.
conversations with my black and white composition book.
I as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully for that. It's the worst. Like I normally I have a whole stack of them like in my desk, and I
Mhm.
opened it and there wasn't another one. And I was like, oh no. Like, and you could just go out and buy one, but it wasn't, it was like, I need something to write on. So I'm like using journals, and you collect journals, and it's just like, but it's not the same because I have a nice
No.
leather binder for it, and it's like my sacred space. We were just talking about we did a writing workshop with the Dolly Museum, and we were talking about the importance of journal writing, and how it's just such a especially for both sexes, but especially men. There was a male there that he writes every day, and it's like the way that he can like process his feelings and emotions, and so many men just keep it stuffed down. And I love journal writing. I think the whole world would be so different if everyone wrote at least
Absolutely.
pages in their journal every day. So what
Absolutely.
what would be the advice you'd give your younger writer self?
The advice I would give my younger writer self is to be as imaginative as possible
Hmm.
and to never give up,
Hmm.
and never change your voice.
Mm, I like that. Yeah. Be you.
Be you.
Yeah. So, who are some of your favorite authors, and what are you reading right now?
Some of my favorite authors are Connie Briscoe, Sister Soldier. Um, there are a few, but those are like my top two.
Hmm.
I read so much between Audible and general textbooks.
Hmm.
Currently, I'm reading a great book that's called The Black Acting Method. It's just basically the from a theater standpoint and a screenwriting standpoint, the different methods of Black writers and the different analogies
Hmm.
used in theater and screenwriting. So it's definitely new to me. It's an eye opener. I was gifted the book, but in the literacy world, it plays an impact as well from what I'm reading so far. So I love it.
Working on a screenplay or play?
I actually do want to work on a screenplay and some film this year. I'm just trying to, branch into different things with my poetry. So, possibly considering turning one of my prior books into film or into a screenplay. So,
Cool.
yeah, want
Yeah,
to see where that takes me.
I love it. I actually went to the National Speakers Association to learn to be a professional speaker with my poetry before I started Keep St. Pete Lit, because I was like, how do I how do I monetize this or take this on the road? And um, I learned a lot with that program, but because a lot of professional speakers, their books are kind of like their business cards, like their calling card.
Mhm.
So there's
Yeah.
so many things, especially like with dealing with mental health, you can speak in front of all different types of audiences and incorporate your poetry in with the message of being a speaker. So that was something but life had another plan for me. So it's really interesting how you can kind of take poetry all over the place, and it doesn't just have to be like in the academic setting.
No,
um, yeah.
not at all. I
Yeah.
feel like poetry is is soul, you
Yeah.
know, and your soul is to be utilized in more than one area, you
Mhm.
know, especially when it's beautiful, like poetry.
Well, yeah, and you seem very prolific with also having a full-time job. Do you act I've talked to some writers that they actually say they like having a full-time job that's separate from their writing because it's like
Absolutely.
their bills are covered and they don't have to put that pressure on their writing. And I kind of feel that way too. Uh, but then, other people reach to a point where they don't have to work another job. But do you find a hard time balancing the two, or does it actually fuel your writing?
I don't, not at all. And it actually helps me so much with my writing. Last year, I was so grateful to transition from a general 9 to 5 to two jobs that I love now. And I call them passion jobs.
Mhm.
One of them is working with youth, women that have been, unfortunately handled incorrectly in the uh, childcare system. So they're 14 to 21. I work with them. And then I also work with domestic violence survivors at a domestic violence shelter. So working with those two groups of individuals and, survivors and, being able to be around that strength and, the different personalities daily, it really helps me in my writing. It helps me in underlying issues that I write about, with mental health and, abuse and encouragement and empowerment. So being around that is actually an addition to, my life as a writer.
Yeah. Are you doing writing projects with the people you work with?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
Yes, I started a like book club with the young girls. My goal was for them to all come together and write pieces about themselves and their lives
Mhm.
and put it together as a collaborative book. So
Nice.
that may be coming together soon. And then I also at the shelter, I recently spoke with management about possibly having poetry workshops with the survivors.
Yeah.
I think it'll really be a therapeutic muse for them to express themselves and, write about the things that they've been through or the things that they, plan on becoming and doing in the future.
That sounds really wonderful. Thank you for that work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for being that, you know, channel to to not only listen and give space for creativity, because especially people that have experienced trauma, that's some of the best things that they can get is the ability to write and get it out of them and express
Mm.
it. And as we said, like the composition book is our you know our place to speak our truth, and
Yes,
some people don't even realize that that's even an option, so thank you for doing that. Yeah.
absolutely.
um where do you go for inspiration besides your job? Like if you get blocked or stuck, is there something that you do to kind of get yourself going? Some people don't get writer's block, believe it or not, but
Absolutely. And so it's really two halves to that. So in college, just a short story in between that question. In college, I met a great writer. His name's Robert Drake.
Mhm.
And I told him, I'm having writer's block. I don't know what to do. And he tells me, you can't have writer's block, or it's hard to have writer's block until you've written about everything.
Mm.
That means the sand, the sun, the moon, the ocean, fish, life, love, heartbreak. Until you've literally written about everything to existence, you don't have writer's block.
I
Just
love that.
so, when I get stuck, I think about that. And then, daily for about 3 years now, every morning I listen to motivational speeches.
Hmm.
So that's like in my curriculum to do. And then at night before I go to sleep, I play affirmations, and I go to sleep to those.
I love it.
So it kind of just keeps my mind going and refreshed. So that helps me a lot when I'm stuck.
I meditate and do yoga and swim laps and process things in there, and I have mantras, all up in all that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
That's it.
self-care, all that good stuff of mind over matter, and you being a co-creator of your own life. And that is, to be able to be in those spaces is definitely a place of privilege, because there's a lot of people that are in really unhealthy spaces. So we are very fortunate that we can be in those spaces to, you know,
Absolutely.
focus on self-care. But that, more power to you. Anything that works to get you in the zone. And
Yes, ma'am.
daily, it's a daily practice. So I
Absolutely.
think that's really wonderful. So one more question and then we'll hear some of your work. What would be your holy grail piece of writing advice?
My holy grail piece of advice, excuse me, for writing. Hmm. It would be, no matter where you stop at in the sentence, always go back and
I like it.
always finish.
I like
Even
that.
if you don't like it at the end, even if you love it at the end, you never know until you finish your piece.
I like that.
So,
Yeah, we haven't gotten that one yet. I like that. And you might, the sentence might not even work for you, but it might work for you 2 years down the road. That's the thing.
absolutely.
Interesting. You come back to your writing and it'd be like, you or something you write something, but you haven't necessarily lived it yet, or you haven't
Mm-hmm.
processed it yet. So I like that. So let's hear some of your work.
Okay.
Mm.
You. So the piece I'm going to do for you today is titled Bloom Flowers.
Mm.
I guess her flowers don't bloom anymore. I guess there's no room for sunshine in her garden. Daisies and tulips, metal fenced and guarded, and pardon her vines that touch sidewalk avenue. The civilian's view of curiosity yet disgust. The bumblebees trust her sweet nectar only to be consumed. The man that once groomed her garden left her alone and unfarmed, but don't be alarmed. She's just another garden in the ghetto waiting to be watered. She is the daughter of a king, once planted in the womb of a queen, yet her soil has no nourishing factors. Standing alone and still, her leaf-filled branches flow in the wind to represent life. Rain and strikes of thunder represented as the struggle. Puddles of mud, all snakes and bugs have crawled and slithered. This garden was once picture perfect, carried so much beauty on the surface, environmentally served a purpose, and now they pick her flowers for corpses.
Mm.
Rest in power to the motherland she used to be. Sprayed down with pesticides from society, but no flies they kept away, no lies they could portray, and no fertilizer they laid could change the view of this monolithic garden, but I'll bet they tell you her flowers don't bloom anymore.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
There's so many visuals and feelings and history, and there's just so, oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I love your cadence. I love your voice. You have a very something you could fall asleep to, but not fall. I don't mean fall asleep. Just like calms you down. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for giving us your insight and your writerly wisdom, and for all your work you do for our community. And good luck on all your 24 more books that come out this year.
Thank you.
God, I'm getting a book out this year and it's taken me 10 years to get it out. So good on you. That's awesome.
But you're getting it out, you know?
Yeah, I am. It's, you know, I started editing it 2 years ago, and I had to realize, like, some of the poems that I had an editor look at it, and then I'm kind of working with what she gave me, but some of those poems wouldn't be what they are if it was a different period in my time, in my life. So I have to just trust that the book has its own timetable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it took a while, but I've already started on my fourth, and I'm writing another book about my family. So
Yes.
everything happens in it. And, you know, I'm planning to live into my 90s. So
Yes, absolutely.
I don't
I'm
feel,
going to be immortal.
yeah, well, I'm into that. Immortal. If I could stay at the age I'm at right now, I would like that, but it's all good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for all the work you do and for being such a bright light.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Maureen, and thank you, Keep St. Pete Lit. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so if you want to know more about Keep St. Pete Lit, you can go to keepstpetelit.org. We have writing classes, book clubs, poetry open mics, all kinds of different events, online classes. We also are in many schools and working with youth. So thank you everyone who supports us, and thank you for everyone for tuning in. And Madam Medusa, again, thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
everyone, we'll see you next time.